Morning, Bruce. Shay Theodore was playing some of his best hockey before he got hurt at the Four Nations. Just what does it mean for him to get back up to speed, so to speak, in these final 10 games that he played and kind of get back to top form and play at the level he was playing earlier this year?
Well, he's an important player for us. Drives a lot of offense from the O-zone blue line through neutral zone transition. I think the power play, him and Hanny have both done a great job up top. So, listen, we feel our D core is as good as anybody's in the league, if not better. So he's a big part of that. So having him back is good. Be able to get some games under his belt when the injury happened, we didn't know. We honestly didn't know, and we're all disappointed for the player for what was at stake for him right there in the moment and for the future. But he was able to get back in, and he's 100% now.
In terms of the defensive pairs, the way you've got them now, it's kind of spread out evenly, it feels like. In terms of matchups, are there certain pairs you're looking at for certain lines, or do you plan on rolling them with the way you've got them set up?
Well, we'll discuss that with John, but I think for the most part you have an idea what you want your matchup to look like. You control that at home a lot easier. At the end of the day, you have to win wherever you play, so we like the pairs be able to play against anybody, and I think that's when we're at our best, when we're not chasing matchups. The players know, hey, the coaching staff trusts them, get out there, do the job whoever you're lined up against. And I think that gives them confidence. Now they got to be able to get the job done, and we feel they can. So we're going to start the pairs how they look today, and we'll see as the series goes on. Obviously Petro and Hager, it's a huge pair compared to maybe Hanny. Hanny's still a bigger guy, plays a much different game than Hager. So we'll see how they play out. We went to that this year almost by default. We had to because of injuries. We liked the way it looked. So that's the upside of having injuries. You get to look at different partnerships, and so we'll start that way, see how it goes.
Bruce, often when young players come into the league, goal scorers, the hardest thing is for them to shoot, right? Because they're young and they want to defer. I'm curious if you've ever had that problem with Pavel, and if so, how did you solve it, and what makes him so effective as a goal scorer?
Never had that problem. He likes to shoot. The players he played with, we saw that right away, so we tried to put him with people that are more distributors, and that was Carly. He started a lot. He probably got confidence playing with him and Smitty, I believe it was. Whoever their winger was got hurt. And they both like to pass. No, they can shoot too, but so that's how it started for him. The ironic thing is this year he ends up with Hurdle, who's a shooter too, and it's really worked. So you got two guys that like to shoot, and you'd think off the top of your head that might not work as a centerman, but Thomas certainly moves the puck, but he likes to hang on to it, shoot himself too. So that's how it's worked out for him. His development started, we liked him in training camp. When I first got here 2 years ago, there was a few guys ahead of him, but we liked Pav from day one. He just needed a little more seasoning, get a little stronger. Had a great summer, and it translated on the ice. If you watch him now, he gets through traffic. He can handle bodies on him better than he did in the past. And that's the challenge for younger guys, I think, to have the strength to do it. I think they can all shoot and have, when time and space, probably score goals. It's, okay, what do you do when you don't have time and space? And that's the toughest part for young guys to, I think, get over the hump in the NHL. And some never do, some don't. He's been able to do it, so good on him. Now this will be his first playoff where it goes up another level, so he'll have to deal with that, and we're comfortable he'll be able to do it.
What's your impression of Kaprizov as a player, maybe in terms of maybe how he might be a little different than other top wingers in the league?
Well, my impression is he's a very dynamic player, and he's very, I guess what separates him is he's a second, third, fourth effort guy. And not that other guys aren't, but I've always said it's a second effort league. You got to have very few guys roll through the door that have Mario Lemieux skills and size and all that. You need to be a second effort guy, and he's all of that. So that's the challenge with him, is he's never out of a play. And he's not a big guy, so you might think you have him somewhere, and all of a sudden there he comes, right? So he's not taking no for an answer when it comes to attack mode, and we got to make sure that we understand that and play through his hands all the time and right till the puck changes hands or possession.
Aiden just said in the room that 50 was his goal this year, to play 50 at least. Besides staying healthy, what else led to this year for him?
Well, health, I think you can't ignore that. I mean, you're not playing 50 games if you get hurt through the year very often. So that was a common goal for us and him, and that may grow as the years goes on. We don't know. That's a good number for a lot of goalies in this league, and he was able to do it because of his health. Why else? Well, he performed, right? If he didn't perform well, then the Sammy in this case, whoever the backup would get more starts and take over, right? So you got to be able to get the job done. So he was able to do that and more. So good for Aiden. He was in a contract year. Sometimes there's pressure involved with that. He didn't let any of that get to him. He just played. I think he understands well too how the team plays in front of him and how he needs to play a certain style and be reliable and predictable. And it's been a good marriage that way. That's what happened with Aiden.
Bruce, Braden McNabb, another season where he plays all 82 regular season games. The last 3 years now he's been able to do that. What does it mean to have a guy like that in the lineup, and just what he brings, and just that he's able to be a consistent force in the lineup that you don't have to worry about anything? Well,
I'm surprised because of his style of play. He's able to, he's a shot blocker as much as anybody out there. So usually over the course of the year, one's going to hurt you and sting for a little longer and keep you out of the lineup. He's a physical guy. He mixes it up in front and the corners. So those type of battles usually lead to maybe an injury here or there. So maybe just that guy, right, that avoids it. It happens. So what's it mean to us? Well, we're grateful for it because he's, I think, one of the most underappreciated defensemen in the National Hockey League, and he's a really good pair with Theo. And they've been good for a while, and then Theo misses time. He's a big brother to whoever he goes with. He's made Korzak a better player. White Cloud, whoever he has over there, he's a really calm and good teacher on the bench and in the course of action when things are going on. And you need players like that. We're coaches, we can coach him, but you need a guy that's in there with you, right? That means so much more to a player. He's living it right beside you on the ice. So what he says really matters, and that's the extra value you get out of Nabber.
Bruce, guys in the room were talking about towing that line between using the energy and atmosphere of Game 1, but not overplaying. In a room with so much experience, is that something you have to keep an eye on, not have to keep an eye on for that first game?
Well, everyone's looking forward to this. You start the year to be in this position, right? So that's the, the reward. And then I think it's human nature to be amped up in the first game. It's so we want to temper it, yet pull it out of them too, right? So what you got to be mindful of, I guess, is the type of player you are. Bring that that type of play energy to its highest level. Don't run around and be that guy if you're not a physical presence out there. Just because the playoffs, it's like I don't want a guy chasing hits that doesn't normally hit, because that's what playoffs are supposed to be. Play through hands, yes. Work above the puck. That's your And I don't want to go through each player individually. You probably know which ones they are. So the guys that have been in, we'll talk to them about that. Just be the best version of yourself. We don't need you to go lead the team in hits if that's not your game. But be competitive on pucks and, work your ass off to keep the puck out of the net, whatever that entails. A good stick, foot speed, physicality, hockey IQ, and that's it. And then put things behind you in a hurry, because it's not going to be perfect out there. So that's the other thing. I think playoffs, all of a sudden you're amped up, you're expecting in the first period, the puck doesn't find you at all. Now you're like, well, I got to do something. I got to go change, that you got to be careful of that. Just play your game and let it come to you and do your part, right? And you're going to have good periods, good games, and good series, does that matter, if you go the whole way. And we've seen it with, teams that have runs. They might have a line that just doesn't have it a series for whatever reason, but they still help their team win, and all of a sudden they're all over the score sheet the next one. So there's a little bit of that goes into it, but that's getting ahead of ourselves, right? Game 1, the guys that haven't played to be good, get it behind you, learn from it, and move on. Hopefully it's a positive outcome, but that's the message to those guys.
I want to go back and ask you about Braden McNabb, because every year he gets better. And this year plus 40, but career low in penalty minutes. And when I asked him about what attributed to that, he said it was the system. But what do you attribute that to, with him having a career low in penalty minutes?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't look at him as a player that's in trouble out there that has to hook and hold and trip all over the ice, right? He has good gaps for a guy that you wouldn't call him doesn't skate like Theo, but he's able to manage his gaps and get in people's way. That's comes from up here, being smart and knowing the game and knowing who he's playing against. So Otherwise, I don't know. He's a physical guy. He's out there battling in front, but he just plays with good discipline. You never really see him snap or, sort of lose his composure. He just has the ability to do that. That's who he is, and that's probably why. What's the hat today, by the way?
My high school.
Okay. What's the name of it?
What's that?
What's the name of it?
Tom's River North.
Okay. Just checking, making notes. You always have good hats, so.
Take one final question for Willie.
Bruce asked the sampling of the players, their pregame tradition on game day. Tomas might have had the best answer, by the way. Do you have a pregame ritual or pregame tradition, something superstitious you do?
No, I have routine. I do have a routine. It's pretty similar every game. Nothing earth-shattering to talk about, to be honest with you. But I don't have a superstition, no. Even coaches, I don't know what are the superstitions of players? They put on their skate right before their left, or whatever it is, or how they tape their stick. So I don't have a tie that I say, okay, this is a Saturday tie. This, you know what I mean? I don't know. Pick what's clean and away we go. So no, not really. Sorry.
Tomas said he sings on the way to the rink, blast music, whatever's working, rock and roll or Czech music, as long as he knows the words. Do you blast music on the rink?
No. I did have a song one years ago. It seemed to work in the playoffs, so maybe one will evolve. I will say that. I think maybe that would happen in the playoffs, right? Something happened to you and it seems to work, then you may become a little more superstitious, for lack of a better term. But going into it, no, nothing. I used to get the paper. Okay, so I'm prehistoric here when I say this. I got the USA Today delivered to my house for years, and I did that crossword puzzle. I don't get it delivered anymore, so I know. And they say it's good for you as you get older, right? So I probably should get back at it, but I don't know. Used to do them all the time.